The Google Pixel 8 Pro is a satisfying showcase for how artificial intelligence is being leveraged in a greater way in our phones, with a smarter, more human-sounding Google Assistant at the helm. Even with a $100 price hike over its predecessor, the Pixel 8 Pro stands out thanks to these AI improvements. Google is banking on AI-assisted features in the Pixel 8 Pro to lure customers away from Apple's iPhone and Samsung's Galaxy phones. From nifty camera editing tricks that turn anyone into a Photoshop editor to the ability of Google Assistant to field phone calls for you and provide contextual responses, there's no shortage of Google AI features packed into Google's latest flagship. Priority is given to the hardware as well, complete with a new Tensor G3 chip, brighter Super Actuator display, versatile 5x zoom camera, and a charming redesign that's sure to get noticed. There's also a temperature sensor exclusive to the Pixel 8 Pro that sort of adds utility to the phone but feels out of place for a phone that's all about convenience. Yet there is lingering feeling in the back of my mind about whether or not this ensemble is enough to justify the Pixel 8 Pro's $100 price increase. At $999 it's still technically cheaper than direct rivals like the iPhone 15 Pro Max or Galaxy S23 Ultra, but it still needs to convince prospective buyers that it's also more valuable than the standard Pixel 8, which costs $300 less. In my Google Pixel 8 Pro review, you will see how Google addresses the biggest concerns about last year's flagship, like its battery life, performance, and display, to find out if there is enough on hand here to make the Pixel 8 Pro one of the best phones released this year. I was really hoping that the Pixel 8 Pro would keep the same $899 starting price as its predecessor, but that wasn't meant to be. While I am bummed that you now need to shell out $999 for the Pixel 8 Pro, it's still technically cheaper than the Galaxy S23 Ultra and iPhone 15 Pro Max, both of which now cost $1,199. Despite the $100 price hike over the Pixel 7 Pro, Google still undercuts many flagships in the Pixel 8 Pro's class. Pre-orders for the Pixel 8 Pro are available right now with general availability in stores and online starting on October 12. In a standard flagship format, the Pixel 8 Pro is available in 3 color options: Obsidian, Porcelain, and Bay. The latter blue shade is the most charming of the bunch if you ask me, but I also like that there are 5 colors option to choose from the Google's official Pixel 8 Pro case. I'm a little annoyed that the base storage option of the Pixel 8 Pro still remains at a 128GB. By comparison, Apple and Samsung upgraded the starting storage option of their flagships, the iPhone 15 Pro Max and Galaxy S23 Ultra, to a more reasonable 256GB. If you need more storage, the Pixel 8 Pro will also be available in 256GB, 512GB and 1TB storage options, costing $1,099, $1,199 and $1,299 respectively. At first glance, I think most people would overlook some of the Pixel 8 Pro's subtle design changes, but the changes make it much better to use in the hand. Its design DNA still doubtlessly comes from the Pixel, evident in its camera hump and metal trim. I am drawn instantly to 2 changes with the Pixel 8 Pro's design. The first involves the phone's new matte finish, which makes it more grippy in the hand. Its slight contrast over the sleeker feel of the glass meets metal construction of the last couple of generations of Pixel phones, so I am delighted by this new change. I am also in love with the bay color option with its lighter bluish hue versus the usual black and white selections. The design choice that makes me skeptical about what's going on here is Google's decision to revert back to a single piece of glass with its triple camera arrangement. I've actually shattered the similar one onto the Pixel 6 Pro, so I was thrilled to see Google addressing it by having 2 separate pieces of glass with the Pixel 7 Pro. Going back to a single piece of glass makes me leery because it makes the cameras vulnerable. I would definitely suggest investing in a camera cover case. Beyond that, the Pixel 8 Pro's design doesn't look radically different. It feels good in the hand, seems solidly constructed, and features the same IP68 rating, all of the qualities I expect in a premium flagship phone. After spending more time with the Pixel 8 Pro's new temperature sensor, the more I realize it's not as practical to use as other implementations I have seen. The sensor's positioned on the back of the phone just underneath the camera's LED flash. You would think it'd be used to measure your body temperature, which it should do later since Google is seeking out FDA clearance for that purpose. At the moment though, the Pixel 8 Pro's new sensor is meant to measure the surface temperature of the objects. While there are logical reasons to do this, such as knowing if the ground's too hot for your four-legged friends to walk on, I think I'd rely more on common sense for that. Nevertheless, you need to keep the sensor about 2 inches away from what you are measuring. However, you will also need to select what type of material you are trying to measure through the thermometer app, which I suppose is necessary to get a more accurate result. I just can't see the practicality of this, especially when there are laser temperature guns and thermal cameras that could effectively do the same things from the further distances. Take, for instance, phones that have built-in thermal cameras which can measure heat signature from faraway distance. I just don't understand Google's logic behind the temperature sensor, which ultimately feels more like a novel addition than a necessary tool. I can't stop focusing on how the Pixel 8 Pro is one of the smartest phones I have ever came across. For once, I can confidently say that it's the assistant I need to make my workflow more efficient and streamlined. All of the AI-assisted features in the Pixel 8 Pro reveal how it takes all the complications in our lives and makes them uncomplicated, like how editing photos is a clinch with Magic Editor or how call screen intelligently responds to phone calls. Even better, I am satisfied knowing that the Pixel 8 Pro improves on every aspect over last year's disappointing Pixel 7 Pro. This new Pixel is a far stronger contender in our best phones list, but it's hard to overlook how the competition still beats it in a critical areas such as performance, battery life, and cameras. Honestly, all of those areas have improved here, but the competition still does it better. But at the same time, it's impossible to dismiss how the Pixel lineup continues to undercut the competition in price. You will save a couple $100 by choosing the Pixel 8 Pro over its closest competitors. So in that regard, it offers all the value I had wanted to find in a flagship phone. Really, you won't be disappointed by the phone, especially when it's the only phone that I can confidently count on to answer phone calls for me where I can't.